Hello, Merry Meet. Haul time. Now I am going to post a few hauls um, over the next probably few days or so because first of all I have some things that I have gotten over the last 2 months and I want to show them. And also tomorrow I am planning to go to Bergen Alternative Fair, which is this basically psychic, alternative medicine, witchcraft, all of those things baked into one fair that is once a year in Bergen. And I will probably get some goodies there, and I will want to show them and also talk about how the fair was and so on. So it will be that in addition to my normal Venefica's occult findings. And however, this is going to be a fiction book. Well, I generally occult, horror, sci-fi, those kinds of things, book haul. So, let's get started. Let's begin with anime because I didn't get a lot of those. I got Sugar Sugaroon by Sugar Sugaroon Volume 2 by Moyuko Ano, and it's by Valentine Books. Now, this is a series. I have book one, but it's out of print, and it can, sometimes be difficult to find these books at a reasonable price. But basically, it's pretty fun. It's about well, two witches that are very cute and it's very sweet that compete about becoming the queen of witches. And I got The Midnight Secretary number 3 by Tomu Omi. And it's by Viz Media. Like I said, I'm not massively impressed with the series, but when I first started one, it's so difficult just to abandon it. And then I got Fuela Magi, Kasumi Magica, The Innocent Malice, and this is number 3. Like I said, I am a huge fan of the Fuela Magi series, so I have to have this. And those are the 3 mangas I got. Like I said, I really like manga and other types of comic books, but I am more fond of real books rather than comic books. I'm not sure how to say that without it sounding horrible. I mean, comic books are real books, but you know what I mean, like novellas and those kinds of things. And I am comic books, so I tend to focus on those. But yeah, so let's move on to novellas, novels, and such things. The first I have is an anthology. It's the Unfettered book. Now, this is a collection of short stories by um, some of the greatest fantasy authors. And if you want this book, I recommend you run out and get it now because this hardcover book isn't made anymore. It was a very short, limited run, and I was extremely lucky to find a place that had it for the original 35 bucks price. Usually, if you buy it on Amazon and so on, it costs from 70 bucks and up to several hundreds now, and it's quickly becoming collectible. And one of the reasons why it's so sought after is that this is the book that what is called River of Souls, I think it is, which is the which is Wheel of Time novella. Basically, one thing to remember there is that if you buy this book and want to read that Wheel of Time section, do read A Memory of Light first because this happens at the same time. Basically, it's sort of like deleted scenes from A Memory of Light. It's basically one storyline there that I didn't include for the flow of the novel, space purposes, and so on and so forth. And instead of just getting rid of the material, they changed it and made it into a short story. But there's so many other great like Terry Brooks, uh, Patrick Rothfuss, Jacqueline Carey, so many Pat Williams have on here, uh, R.A. Salvatore, so many great. Really recommend this book, but like I said, you can find it pretty cheaply as a PDF or something for Kindle. But if you want a physical book, currently this is the only thing you that have. It doesn't exist at least as of yet as a soft cover, and this is out of print. So do get it if you want to. I think it's zero sold. Let me just check that because I'm a bit of a Wheel of Time nerd, and it would be very embarrassing to have the wrong name. Blah blah blah. Lots of things there. It's River of Souls. I was right. Mm-hmm. So yes, sorry for bumping the camera. And yes, moving on. I have a friend gave me this one. He had said he had read it several times, and he knew that I like these kinds of books. So he gave it to me, which I think was very nice. And if you are watching, you know who you are. Thank you. And it is Wicked Appetite by Janet uh, Evankovich. And I don't know if this is a series or not, but if it isn't, it should be. It's a pretty good book. Uh, and it's published by um, St. Martin's Paperbacks. Seems. Something like that. Let me just see who published Unfeathered. It is Grim Oak published this one. Well, moving on. I have Hero Worship by Christopher E. Long. And when I saw this book description on Llewellyn's pages, I just had to have it. I really like alternative superhero stories, and basically this is it. It's this world where superheroes are really the rage. However, our main protagonist, he has the wrong kinds of powers, so he isn't allowed to be a superhero, but he wants to be so anyway. So yeah, it's a fun read, and it's by Flux, which is the fiction department of Llewellyn. And then I have Phantom Eyes by Scott Tracy. This is book 3 of the Witch Eye series. And it is also by Flux. And then I have Rights of Renown. When Will You Rage 2? Edited by Bill Bridges. This is an anthology series of Werewolf the Apocalypse fiction. If I'm not mistaken, this was a stretch goal for the Werewolf 20th edition Kickstarter, but I'm not completely sure about that. And it is by White Wolf and Onyx Path. And then there's a book that, again, it was sort of like impulse buy, but I just had to have it when I saw it because, first of all, the cover is beautiful. So that immediately attracted me. But it's called Blood Magic by Tessa Gratton. And it's basically about this girl that finds an old grimoire and that tells her how to do blood magic. And yeah, the story around that. And it just sounds fun. And who was it that published that? It is Corgi, it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Never heard of that. Anyway, moving on to something a bit odd. We have Magic in Outer Space by James Hartley. Okay, just look at that cover. Look at it. How can you not buy this book? It is a witch flying in space with a fishbowl on her head. Not witch hat on top. And the premise is just so, I haven't read it yet, but basically the premise is this. You have a spaceship full of witches fleeing oppression. Basically you have witch hunts. All the witches go into a spaceship and flee into space, and yeah, the story goes on from there. I mean, I think it's self-published. I'm not sure. Yeah, it seems to be self-published, but really, this is what you get with self-publishing. It is some ideas that you can just not imagine that would be published by a big publishing house that has to weigh risks against possible benefits and such things. So I can't imagine this being published by a real publishing house, but its concept is so amazing. So I imagine I will enjoy that. My book file is falling over here. Okie dokie. Then I have Dying to Know by T.J. O'Connor. This is the first book in a series. Does it say what the series is called? No, not on the front at least. Yeah, a gun show ghost. So it's a gun show ghost mystery series. This is the first book in the series. It's basically about this detective who dies, and he then has to solve his own murder as a ghost. And then I have Endless Night. It is his book. Is it what? I think it's one. Yeah, I think this is book one of the Arcana Chronicles. I just was attracted to the cover, and it's basically about a tarot themed fantasy thing. I just had to have that. And then I have a book that I just recently reviewed, and it is Of Predators and Prey, the Hunters Hunted Anthology 2. No, the Hunters Hunted 2 Anthology, edited by Justin Achille, which is also made by White Wolf and Onyx Path. I should say who published the other two. Basically, this one is, and the second one is from Simon on Flatshot. I'm not sure. If you can read that, you will find out what the publisher are. And the Dying to Know one is by Flux, isn't it? No, it's by Midnight Ink. I was wrong. And then, just because I like my fantasy in all of the things I read, this include my smut. I like fantasy smut, which means I do like to hear stories of Bigfoot banging terrorists and other such things. In this case, however, we have horny witches. So, we have a little book here called Reading the Witch by Dahlia Derlin. This is the kind of book that you have by your bedside and read when you are in a special kind of mood. Because this is fantasy smut. I love my fantasy smut. And it's also self-published. Okay, and then moving on to role-playing game books. Basically, I got this one. It is Shadow of Eastern by iUniverse, and it's by Agathe RPG. This is the core book. I haven't played this game yet, but I heard so many good things about it that I just had to get it. It's basically a fantasy game. And then this book, I am not sure if I showed last time or not. If I did, then please forgive me. This one is something getting in the way. Anyway, it's Transforming Mythic Europe by Ferguson, Lawford, and Shirley, and it's by Atlas Games. It's basically a supplement for Ars Magica, and it's about how you can take the concepts of basically magic can change the world, and basically how you can let Mythic Europe become more mythic. here we have another little oddity, this time by White Wolf and Onyx Path. And it is Werewolf the Apocalypse cookbook. Yeah, this is basically, it speaks about various werewolf tribes with recipes that somehow fit that tribe. It is amazing. I'm going to have to try some of the recipes of this and eat like a werewolf. Uh, all of the rest of the books, like I said, are from White Wolf and Onyx Path. And then I have Mummy the Curse ready-made characters. It's basically this little booklet with some ready-made characters from Mummy that you can use as NPCs or as quick player characters and so on. Then I have Rage Across the World for Werewolf 20th edition. And I have a book that I have been waiting for quite some time, and it is Blood and Smoke, the Strengths Chronicle. And basically this is a completely new setting for Vampire the Requiem. It basically takes Vampire the Requiem, which is pretty similar to Vampire the Masquerade, and it just moves it in a completely new direction. I would say that the vampires in this then becomes more similar to Anne Rice's vampires, though not completely. So yeah, this is a completely new way to play Requiem. It's quite good. And the last book I have to show right now is one that I have been also waiting for, and it is Changing Breeds for Werewolf the Apocalypse. Basically, it's a big hardcover book that contains everything you need to run a changing breed story, among other things, because I have been wanting to run a story with were-sharks, because I have a friend who really likes them, and I also want to make, basically tells you, among other things, what happened when when were-cats become vampires. I want to make a story around that, and the book just gives me so many great ideas. Anyway, I've been babbling on for 17 minutes, so it's time to stop this video. I hope you have enjoyed this haul. Have a great day, and blessed be.